Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out People of Reddit. Story 1. Stalin Tactics. So a few years ago it was my friend's birthday coming up in a few months. I'm a designer, so I thought I would try something homemade. I decided to make a book with entries from all his friends. This guy is well liked and popular within our large group of friends, so I expected everyone to jump on board without hesitation and bang this thing out in a couple of weeks. It was not. Turns out people are very resistant and take forever to very simple tasks. I understand people are busy, but I was literally asking for a post-it notes worth of an entry, as I would fill the rest of with an illustrations if needed, which is not an insignificant amount of work and can be time-consuming, so I needed it sooner than later. Cut to it's the final days I can get it to the printer. I have managed to wrangle everyone's entries and made the design. I am just waiting on the last few people, who would be very good friends of his and even a family member. They keep postponing, the family member just flat out refuses. I finally, after months, take every picture they are featured in throughout the book and edit them out. I went full Stalin. I was even tempted to have one of their entries as the back and forth of messages I had with them, but that felt more malicious and I'm more petty. The book was a big success. They were a quite myth to be left out, but actions have consequences, or lack of action in this case. Anyway, I'm never doing anything like that again. Story 2. Update on my nosy neighbor. Previously, after recently moving into my current address, my nosy neighbor, Kelly, saw my daughter, Rose, leave the house in the morning, and assumed that she was my young mistress. Kelly hadn't seen Rose before, as she's just returned from university. She accidentally revealed what she's seen to my wife, Irina, who, realizing who she'd seen, played dumb. Update: we invited Kelly to dinner. Rose had been instructed, and was happy to play along, to arrive around the time of the end of the meal. Ate all eating, my wife occasionally staring daggers. She's a good actress at heart, when we hear the doorbell, and I answer. They heard me say, "Hello my darling," and similar. Story 3. Motorcycle Petty Revenge. This just happened about 30 minutes ago. Background: I live and work in and around the greater Los Angeles area. Although I own a car, my main mode of transportation is my big, slow, comfy Harley. It's the fastest/easiest way, although not the safest, to get around the city. In California, lane splitting, riding between the lanes, is legal and encouraged for motorcycles. It's safer and cuts my drive time down to half of what it would be if I drove my car. I have a 40-mile commute each way to work and back that I can usually do in under an hour thanks to my motorcycle. The safest and suggested lanes to split between are the number 1, HOV, and 2 lanes. There's an etiquette to riding. Oftentimes a motorcycle lane splitting will want to go faster than the motorcycle lane splitting in front of them. When safe, the slower bike will move fully into the leftmost lane and let the other bike pass. They'll wave at each other and everyone will happily go about their day. Some days I pass other riders, some days they pass me. It's no biggie, it doesn't bother me, and I'd rather let them pass just so I don't feel rushed. The story: my commute home today was hell. Traffic was abnormally bad and drivers were inattentive, leading to some close calls. I got cut off 3 times, hard, by idiots either on the phone or not paying attention. By the time I got within about 15 miles of my home, I was pretty pissed off and had a pounding headache. I was on the 405 freeway northbound just past the 118 interchange, and there was a massive traffic jam. It doesn't normally back up nearly this bad in this particular area. This part of the freeway is harder to lane split in because the lanes are narrower and there's not as much room to get past. Traffic was slowed to a crawl, meaning even if cars did see me coming, it would take them some time to get over because there simply wasn't space, meaning I had to basically idle through traffic. The petty revenge: enter entitled dickhead on a sport bike. I could see him coming up behind me from quite a distance and closing in fast. When he was about 15 car lengths away, he started furiously flashing his high beams, like I was instantly supposed to get over and let him fly past. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't, Cars were bumper to bumper. When he got about 5 car lengths from me he turned on his high beam solid. So I took my time. I pretended like I didn't even notice him. I waited for him to get the point and dim his brights but he never did. If he had, I would have let him pass. About 5 miles up, the 405 ended and I had to merge onto the 5 freeway. I knew he was going to try to beat me over to the HOV lane during the merge, so I gave it the beans and zipped over before he could. He tried to get around me but I don't think he expected me to take off like that. And then I slowed back down again. You're really not supposed to go more than 10 mph faster than surrounding traffic, so I was obeying the law. He was stuck behind me for another 3 miles until we passed the 5/14 split and came over the mountains in the Santa Clarita Valley. Traffic eased enough to where he could get around me, and boy did he take off. I watched his tail lights disappear in the valley below. I thought that was the end of it. Apparently, the exit he got off at, another 3 miles down the road, was severely backed up onto the shoulder of the freeway and he was stuck in traffic. I waved to him as I went by. Story 4. Embarrassed my annoying manager. When I was 18, I worked in a fairly nice restaurant in a hotel. One of my managers was annoying. He was constantly nitpicking and just an obnoxious person overall. He had a habit of posting little signs in the kitchen or the city workstation, with reminders of what we needed to be doing. Unfortunately, he couldn't spell for crap and his notes were occasionally grammatically incorrect. I recall seeing one sign in the kitchen, reminding the kitchen staff something about the grease. I was 18 and found his signs both appalling and funny. Then he pissed me off. I don't remember what it was he did or said, but I remember my anger. So I brought in my red pen and proceeded to correct all of the spelling and grammatical errors on his stupid signs. I gave him a D. I walked by later and saw that one of my co-workers changed the grade to an F. I didn't see annoying manager's initial reaction but I did see him stomping around later, ripping down all the signs. Good times. Story 5. Call me a cheap FING, I will be one. Story 6. Drunkenly gossiping beneath my window, enjoy hearing it played back to you. Edit. I realize now that port is not right and is actually just in my language, haha. What I mean is an outside area that houses surround and you all share it. You can have your little garden area there but it's an open plan. Like a behind area for our apartments but all of our apartments form a wall around it. It's common in Nordic countries. There are probably 14 to 20 apartments around this port. Edit 2. A courtyard is the word. I live in an apartment downtown of a capital. It's still fairly quiet as the bedroom side of it faces the little port we share with our neighbors instead of the street. Well, it was quiet until our shitty neighbors moved in. They own a dog that barks desperately all the time, and 2 annoying little girls that literally scream bloody murder outside in the port in the mornings, just screaming as loud as they can, seemingly for fun, and nobody stops them until we shout out the window for them to knock it out. I can't say I blame them, seeing how their parents don't seem to be able to raise them nor their dog, so trying to get attention by any means seems to be the thing. I honestly feel really sorry for the kids. The parents also love parties. And they love to take the party outside when the weather is nice, smoking, scream laughing, drunkenly singing and so on. And the port has a lot of echoes so it's loud as fuck. Point is they're just inconsiderate assholes, but I don't feel like facing them directly as I am not confrontational and they seem dodgy and unstable. The new thing seems to be not just keeping to the outside of their door, but rather use my side of the port as an extension of their party. They or their guests from the party would come and gossip drunkenly, underneath my window which I always keep open lest I drown in my own sweat. The first time I ignored it as I could, as it was only after midnight and a weekend. They stayed for like an hour talking shite about some people as I tried to shove my pillow deep into my ear canals. Not much later they do it again. The same people, WTF. I open the window as far as I can and slam it back. I almost saw their souls leave their body as they scurried away. There is peace beneath my window for some weeks, if you exclude screaming children, a barking dog and their inside parties. Then good weather rolls around, it's not super common at night in my country, and garden party ensues. The gossip assholes roll around once everyone is piss drunk at 3 a.m., and they start blabbing loudly beneath my window again, bitching about some people. Fuck that. But this time I was prepared. I grabbed my phone and immediately started voice recording. After a few minutes of their mean rants, I fetch my Bluetooth speaker, place it in the window and start playing their shit talk back at them, loudly enough for it to echo within the port and reach the outside party. They shut up very quickly and I notice the party noises and music have died down too. Nobody is saying anything. After I've played their shit talking for a bit, I am peeking behind my curtains and see them panicking, trying to see where the noise is coming from, but in their drunken state and with the echo they're not entirely sure where their voices are coming from. Giving up and going back to the party, I hear them speaking to the party guests in desperate voices, and it is clear to me now that they must have been shit-talking about their friends as the voices answering back are getting angry. It turns into a full-blown shouting argument, lots of alcohol involved so no wonder, but this time I do not mind the noise and I cuddle my pillow satisfied. The port has been blissfully free of drunken gossip for some weeks now, and I suspect they won't use it for some time to come. If they do, I'll be ready. Story 7. Fired while pregnant. I at the time, 20F, was working 2 jobs at the same nursing home while pregnant. I did physical therapy 9 to 5 and then was a CNA from 5 to 10:30 p.m. My workload was getting crazy and I was drained with my 12-hour shifts. I had let the facility know that I wanted to stop doing my extra CNA shifts while pregnant and continue to do my 9 to 5 physical therapy position. From my understanding, HR was completely okay with this. So I signed the paperwork. The next day I got a call from the director of nursing saying how she's so sad that I had quit my job and best luck in the future. I was taken back for a min. I told her there must be a mistake, I only stopped doing extra shift for the rest of my pregnancy. She then proceeded to tell me no, I had quit working altogether. I was so upset. There was nothing I could do or say to get my job back. I took it as retaliation that I made them sort a staff member for aid work, and so she fired me from the whole company. While I was working there, I had found out the director of nursing didn't actually have any license to run the facility. So I called the health department and basically told on her. When I went in the next couple days to get my paycheck, I had found out she resigned until she got the appropriate certification to continue her job. I was still mad about being fired, but she also lost her job, so it made me feel good. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.